from the two billionaires duking it out in the ring to distract us from real problems, to their companies failing miserably in the background. Here is why the Elon Musk versus Mark Zuckerberg beef is fake. The two tech billionaires have decided to duke it out in the ring. Let me be honest here, this fight might not even end up happening. 'Cause all these two want is to be talked about. Behind closed doors, these billionaires have been talking bad about each other for years. It all started in 2016 when a SpaceX rocket explosion destroyed a Facebook satellite. That satellite was a part of Facebook's project to get internet connectivity to the developing world. And back then, it would have been the company's first satellite in orbit. Mark was incredibly frustrated after the entire thing. A couple years later, Elon said that he gave them a free launch to make up for it, and that it was covered by the company's insurance. Yeah, he called Zuck out on overreacting. That's not all. In 2017, Zuck went off on Elon about his attitude toward AI, saying that all the Tesla CEO ever does is drum up doomsday scenarios. Musk took a jab at Zuck, saying that his understanding of the field was too limited to form an opinion. Then, in 2018, the Twitter CEO deleted SpaceX and Tesla's Facebook pages. Brian Acton, the guy who co-founded WhatsApp, said that it was time to delete Facebook, and Elon replied, "What's Facebook?" That's when a fan told Musk that his company has pages on Facebook too. Yeah, Elon wiped them off Facebook real quick and claimed that the social media app was lame anyway. X's CEO also criticized Facebook's data sharing practices and urged people to use Signal. Now, I wouldn't be any good at my job if I didn't tell you guys that every time they took public hits at one another, they started trending. What more do two billionaires even want? I mean, in 2022, Tesla spent $150,000 on advertising in the United States, which is freakishly low. Do you know how much GM spent on advertising in 2021? $3.3 billion. That's because GM's a faceless corporation, whereas Tesla, they've got Elon Musk. His antics, feuds, crazy tweets, and all the weird things he does in interviews are more than enough to keep Tesla trending. Musk's all the marketing his company needs. That's exactly why his feud with Zuck is going on this long. It keeps him in the news. Wait, what does Mark get out of all of this? Look, the truth is that while a lot of folks might hate Musk, almost everyone hates Mark. The guy pretty much owns us. I mean, he owns WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram for crying out loud. Yeah, more people side with Elon than they do with Mark, but that doesn't mean he's not getting anything out of this either. Every time someone shares a meme about how the Meta CEO is a lizard person, he and his company gain publicity. Look, feuds in the tech world are really common. Well, feuds in every industry are super common. When you look at the timing of everything between these two, though, one thing's clear. Their beef's all fake. They've been talking smack for a long time now. But do you know when these two decided to finally fight out their differences? When Meta announced Threads. In December 2022, Meta brainstormed ideas for a Twitter competitor to take advantage of Elon's chaotic Twitter takeover. Meta's chief product officer, Chris Cox, mocked Twitter, saying that Threads will be a platform that'll be sanely run. Elon replied, "I'm sure Earth can't wait to be exclusively under Zuck's thumb with no other options." If that wasn't enough to start another fire, he even sent out this. When he called out Zuck in a tweet saying, "Zuck my, you know what," Twitter users asked Musk to be careful since Mark knows jujitsu. That's when Elon said that he was up for a cage fight if Zuck is as well. The two seem to be taking it seriously, and it does seem likely that they'll duke it out in the ring. So let's talk about it then. This beef is nothing but a way to distract all of us. It's nothing but a shared plea for attention that's meant to distract us from the news they want to bury. Just before this cage fight news broke out and it became all anyone could talk about, Meta announced that it's going to cut off access to news on Facebook and Instagram in Canada, just because the government asked tech companies to compensate domestic media outlets when using their content. On top of that, let's not forget that Musk's reputation has taken a massive hit too. His favorability has fallen by 13 points among US adults, when everyone realized that he was a nut job. That also messed up Tesla's reputation, harming the EV maker's sales. So as entertaining as something like this might be, it also just shows how vain these billionaires are. Look, the young generation of MMA fans are, how do I put this nicely? Billionaire fanboys. I mean, don't forget, this is something that Musk has done before. You know, the time he smoked pot on Joe Rogan's podcast? Or the time when he named his dog the CEO of Twitter? He's also the person who said that the term cisgender was a slur. So there's that. At the same time, Zuck's the kind of guy who is Augustus Caesar, so instead of just reading about him like a normal person, he cuts his freaking hair like him. While the two aren't exactly the best of friends, this fight is about the competition between two similar businesses. And these guys are chasing after one thing and one thing only: clout. Think about it. Clout's a considerable asset, especially in Silicon Valley, where the bigger personality, the better. Musk knows this, and so does Zuck. When the attention is towards them, they go viral and get richer. That's exactly what they plan to do with this cage match, and why this beef is the fakest thing out there. Oh, and the two are always sharing pictures about how they're training so hard, and how they've got literal UFC fighters for trainers. But maybe, just maybe, instead of learning how to fight and instead of keeping this fake feud alive, they should focus more on their businesses. Let's be real, Threads and X, yeah, they're both suffering. I'll talk about Threads first. Instagram's answer to Twitter is facing a lot of challenges. Because of its connection to Instagram, the app was super easy to sign up for. So it had a lot of users during the first few days, and Twitter was doomed to fail. The app just isn't interesting though. It's not fun, and frankly, it's not mean or snarky enough to cut it. Because of that, there's a sharp decline in user engagement. Zuck says that tens of millions of people use the app daily, but the data? It suggests otherwise. The number of daily active users has declined 70% from its peak, and it sits at just 13 million people. Twitter, on the other hand, has around 200 million daily active users, so Musk's clearly winning this war. On top of that, Threads' daily usage is super low too. When the app first came out, an average user was spending around 20 minutes on the app. Now not only are users not returning, but the ones that are staying on the app for just 10 minutes. So can Elon start popping bottles of champagne now? Not so fast. Because Twitter just rebranded to X, and it's destined to fail too. The guy's done lots of stupid stuff, but this is probably the stupidest. Because Twitter has been drilled into our consciousness for over 17 years, and tweet has become a verb. So this rebrand just makes no sense? Elon has just broken the connection between the name of the platform and what people do about it. The point is, Threads is suffering, and now so will Twitter, or X, or whatever Elon's been calling it. Because while one can't seem to make it, and the other can't seem to understand what brand identity is and why it's important. Despite that, the two just seem to be beefing to keep our attention away from these two disasters. Which is exactly why we need to be skeptical of news articles and social media posts. And this is exactly why we need to do our own research, rather than falling for these marketing ploys. And there you have it. From both companies failing miserably in the background, to the two billionaires duking it out in the ring to distract us from all the problems. That was why the Elon Musk versus Mark Zuckerberg beef is fake.